Today, we will listen to Miguel Alves Ribeiro. He is the founder and CEO of SheerME, a startup focused on democratizing online access to self-care services. He is specialized in market development and implementation for the past 12 years across 13 different countries. He has led and inspired teams of over 300 people from various geographies. It's very interesting. He has launched the first online booking platform for restaurants in Portugal in 2009. And later he sold it to TripAdvisor, and I will definitely ask you about this. And he joined Zomato's founding team in 2013 as head of growth for Europe and South America, serving there for over 7 years. Miguel,
thank you so much. Great. I couldn't have done it better. It's fantastic.
You're welcome. I have some friends to help me, gather these information.
Awesome.
Miguel, I don't know how you want to start your speaking. Maybe from SheerME, maybe from somewhere else. The scene is yours, and I will ask you some questions as we discussed earlier.
Yeah, so let me expand a little bit on what you mentioned and go a little back. So yeah, I've worked in the corporate world for a long. Well, first of all, thank you so much, and it's always good to talk to people from countries that we admire, but we don't reach it yet. So I think we can connect later on, because I'm really keen to know more about that side of the world. I never did business in that side of the world, so I think it's very interesting to get to know and network. So let's connect, and let's keep on connecting from now on. And thank you so much for this opportunity to share my experience and what we've been doing for the past few years. So starting from the beginning, I launched the first startup in 2009, but before that, I was in the corporate world, so corporate suits, shoes, ties, and I hate that, long hair, beard. I'm not the kind of guy that likes all that corporate stuff. So 20 years of my life, I worked in telecom, working in special projects as well. So whatever the people did not want to do, I would do it. So innovation, testing out products in different parts of the world. So my team would always do that. But I got a little bit tired of that corporate world, at that managing systems that are already there. And I said, okay, let me build something of my own. And that's when I started to see what we could add value to. And we love food. We love to eat, and especially Portuguese people, we do everything around the table. And I had been in a trip to New York, and I found this company fantastic that I wanted to go to a restaurant in 2008, 2007, 2008. I wanted to go to a restaurant. There was this app that I could book, or website that I could book a restaurant. This was like amazing. And I would say, okay, why don't we have this in Portugal? The company was Top Table, or Open Table at the time. And you can find the restaurant that you wanted to go in New York and make a reservation without having to call anyone. That was fantastic. And I said, okay, we need to bring this idea to Europe. So we quit our job, me and a friend of mine, we quit our jobs, and we said, okay, let's try this, and let's do a startup. Let's do something new. So we launched Best Tables in 2009, and we started knocking on doors of restaurants and say, okay, we're bringing technology to enhance your customer experience, to make it easier for people to find you and to book 24/7. And actually, restaurant owners would say, fuck off. I don't want anything to do with that. Technology is not for us. We have pen and paper. Why should I pay for that? That's something that will screw up my operations, and I don't want that. And many restaurant owners would say, okay, you guys will fail in 6 months. But I think our relentlessness and our vision said, okay, let's push it through. And it was very, very hard in 2009, 2010 to to ask restaurants at least to try something new. You know, most of them did not have computers in their restaurants. They managed everything with pen and paper. They would not. Most of them did not have smartphones, or the first iPhone was just released, so the apps were something new at the time. So it was very difficult, but I think it gave us that taste of, man, we can change this. Man, this has to happen. You know, if
Yes,
you want to
yes,
interrupt,
Miguel,
go for it.
how old were you then?
Sorry?
How old were you then at 2009?
Good question. So 12 years back, I was 30 something, 37, 36, 37, already pretty well into the 30s. Yeah, I was not a kid. Both of us were mature. So Ricardo was the founder of the company. I was co-founder, and he was like 3 years older than me. So he was probably near his 40s. So both of us very mature. Both of us from sales and marketing backgrounds, not tech, but we knew exactly what we wanted. We didn't know that we were product guys, but I think we were already product guys. We knew exactly what we wanted to create, and we found people that could design and create the product that we needed. Question?
Okay, very good. And what happened to your idea? How did you collect your team, and how did you make your product? Please tell us your story.
So yeah, I think in the beginning we needed help because, like I said, we were good marketing guys. We could go do partnerships and sales and everything, but we were not tech guys. So we hired an agency to do the first product for us, the MVP. So that agency created the design and the product that worked out pretty well. But we found out that, okay, we need our own team. We need someone sitting on our side and to do this faster. Okay, so we hired the first tech guys. We hired the first sales teams. We were a very small team. Me and Ricardo were the ones that were going out doing partnerships and acquiring the first customers, and also getting a lot of feedback from the market. And I think that was key. Because if you're creating something and if you're going out there to your clients and asking, does this make sense? You build a product a lot more easy. So we did one thing that was key to change everything. Okay, so we asked a restaurant owner to work with him in his restaurant to just pick up the phone and see how people call him. What do they say first? How do you put that in a notebook? How the operation worked. So we worked there for I did 3 nights, and Ricardo did another 3 nights, and we learned a lot. And I think that key decision made us understand the product a lot better than what we had in our head, in our idea. So understanding how the operation worked made all the difference at that point of time. And we also did something to the restaurant owner that also made him change his mind. It was a really famous restaurant in Lisbon at the point of time, and we sat with him. It was like 9:30 at night, and we told him, "I'm going to call your restaurant. What time does your kitchen close?" I asked the chef. He says 10 o'clock, and I said, "Okay, I'm going to call the restaurant right now and see what they say." So I called the restaurant in front of him, and I said, "Okay, I want a booking do you have a table for now, 9:30? And they said, no, we close at 10. And she hung up the phone. Okay, and she was right in front of me. And I told them, "Man, you see, you're losing business. If you had the availability for someone to book online, that slot would be filled, and you would have two more people sitting at your restaurant, and you would be more efficient in your kitchen and in your operation. But that lady wants to go home earlier, so she said there's no availability," and hang up the phone. And you do have availability for at least half an hour more. So this was a ha-ha moment for that restaurant owner that actually was a chef as well. And I think also getting that reaction from him was kind of a validation that we needed. Okay, we're going to change this market. We're going to change this industry if we can continue to push and push this through. So I'm telling you this story from the beginning because in 2009, I think all these learnings made us understand that we could have an actual impact in an industry if we push through it. It's very, very hard. It is. But if you want to change an industry, you have to have the strength and the fiber to push on through in moments that are difficult. And I think that was a big learning at that point of time.
And how did you finance, your business? Did you bootstrap or, something else?
So in the beginning, we were self-funded. So we had some money, and then we had some investors that family fools and friends, okay, that put some money in. But the first moment that we got real money in was from partnerships that we closed with two big companies, and they understood what we were building and they invested in us. So not investors, but partners that they invested in visibility within the platform, okay? We told them, okay, in a year from now, we'll have 100,000 users. And they said, okay, I want to be with you and I want to grow with you. So that was a good moment for us to grow. It gave us a little bit of runway for us to prove the concept and then go reach for funding later on. But we just went for funding a year after. Mm-hmm. So kind of bootstrapped, kind of self-funding, and getting money from partners.
From partners, not investors.
Not investors at that point of time.
What happened, to the business finally?
So we launched in Portugal. We were really successful, first table management system in Portugal. So and the assumption, I'll get to that later on, we built a company or a startup with the assumption that 30% of people that went out to eat, they would book a restaurant, 30%. Okay, and that was good enough for us to build a business. We launched in Portugal, launched in Brazil, and then we got acquired when we were in Brazil, like 6-9 months after we went into Brazil. Because let me tell you something: when you launch a marketplace in Portugal with 100 million or 10 million, 11 million, citizens, it's not enough. You're not interesting for major investors, but when you can prove the concept in a bigger market, then you're interesting. Okay, so we've proven the concept in Portugal, and we've proven the concept in Brazil. So then we had a partnership with TripAdvisor, and TripAdvisor said, okay, why should I pay them a revenue share or just get revenue share out of them when I can have the whole business? So they acquired two companies. They acquired the Portuguese company called Best Tables and the Spanish company from Marco Alves, a good friend of ours, that was called El Tenedor. El Tenedor, the fork, was in 7 countries. We were in 2. So they kept the name, but the technology was Best Tables.
Okay, thank you. During your conversation, you mentioned that you launched the business in Brazil. Mm-hmm. During my relationship with Portuguese startups, I've noticed that Brazil is very attractive for Portuguese startups. Yeah. The reason for this is only, the population of Brazil, which is very large, and, the same language, or there is another reason behind why, for example, you don't go to Spain.
Okay, language first, but let me also expand on that. Same strategy in Best Tables, Zomato, and now SheerME. Exactly the same thing. Launch Portugal, then go to Brazil. Okay, we did the same thing in all these 3 markets. We launched Brazil with Zomato. So after we sold to TripAdvisor, I was looking for a new, and I'll go back to Brazil, but just to explain how this happened, I was looking to open another startup, and I was on a train ride from Cascais to Lisbon, and I just send a LinkedIn message to the founder of Zomato and say, okay, I'm Portuguese, I did this, I'm looking for partners, what do you think about Portugal? And the guy replied like 10 seconds back saying, can we get on a call? And I said, yeah, sure. 2013, just opened my iPad and did a Skype call with him. And there was this Indian guy on the other side of the line that I didn't understand half of the things that he said because the accent was very difficult for me at the point of time. But what I understood is that we were very similar and our missions were very similar. We wanted to do something big, and we wanted to do something big in the restaurant space. And the guy invited me to come to India for 6 months to a year. And then I said, like in microseconds, I said, yes, sure, I will go. Then I remembered I'm married, I have kids, and I still have a business to run, but I'll figure this out. 2 weeks after, I was in New Delhi in India, and I joined the founding team of Zomato. They had 1 million of investment at that point of time, but I joined in September 2013. November 2013, they closed a big round of funding of 37 million. So I was in the right place at the right time to expand, you know? So 2013 and right after that, 2014, it was going to happen, the World Cup in Brazil. So I told them, okay, let me go back to Portugal. Let me open a European HQ in Portugal, and let's launch Brazil. Okay. And we did that. Okay. But that time with Zomato, we failed. Okay. And we failed. Why? I think Brazil has specific characteristics. And now let me explain why Brazil for Portuguese companies. It's the same language. Okay. But it's a completely different culture. Okay, it's easier for us to launch an app or a website in Brazil because there's not a lot of translation to do. Spain, there's a lot of translation to do. 55 million inhabitants in Spain, 220,000 million, sorry, in Brazil. So the market is a lot bigger. Europe has a lot of competition. A lot of people are very scared to go to Brazil. Brazil, you have to think about state by state. So if we know this, it's easier. But if you go there with the thinking that, okay, I want to grab the whole country, you will fail. I failed in Zomato because of that. Okay, because I tried to go to more than one city at a time. Okay, and that's why I failed in Zomato. But yeah, we went to Brazil, we hired the team, I came back to Portugal, and I was trying to run the company from Portugal and in Brazil. The culture is very different. I could not pass the Zomato culture to the team, to the local team. So I think that's one of the reasons that we failed. Once again, why Brazil? The market is bigger, the competition is not great, and we speak the same language. So I think these three things are what makes it sexy for Portuguese companies to go international in Brazil. Okay, but if you think about an American company and they think about Brazil, oh, the language is too difficult, I don't want to go there. It's easier to have Americans speak Spanish than Portuguese, you know? So it's a good thing that we speak Portuguese because the market is huge. Also, they leapfrogged in tech. So they passed from analog to very digital very fast. It's like India, you know? The young generation just uses WhatsApp and smartphones for everything. You know, they didn't go through the phases that most of the countries did. So I think that is also they're tech savvy. They adopt technology very fast, but if they don't agree with it, they'll drop it really fast as well. So the culture is very important. You have to know how to communicate in a way that they understand and that they feel that technology brings value to their lives. Okay, so you need to understand this, and I think we Portuguese understand. And I think you live here in Portugal, right?
Yeah.
You know that a big part of our population right now is Brazilian, so that also helps. So yeah, that also helps. So those are the reasons that I believe that make it sexy for us to launch countries like Brazil.
Okay.
We're going out of script, but I think that's a good thing. Yeah.
I want to put my feet in your shoes. So I think living, the entrepreneurship work and working in your own business and left it and being an employee for 7 years was a really a bold decision. You had your own business, which was very successful, and eventually you left it and start working for another company, as you mentioned. How did this time go? Wasn't it hard or not?
Leaving Zomato?
Yeah.
Yes and no. I never left, in a way. In a sense, I never left. They're still good friends, but I'm a shareholder. So before they went into IPO, I did a pretty good exit, and I could do one of three things. I could stay in the company's cruise control. I could go on vacation for a year or two with my family, or I could open my own business. I hate cruise control. I'm not a vacation kind of guy. I'm sorry for my family, but it's true. And I love the chaos of building something new. And then we had something also that is very interesting. The founders are my friends. So they are also investors in SheerME. One of the founders also left the company, the Zomato, and he built a mindfulness kind of company. Dipinder continued in food tech and groceries, and I came to wellness. So in a sense, we're still trying to change the world, food, mind, and body. And if everything goes right, in a couple of years, in a few years, maybe we'll be all working together again under one umbrella and one big company. I don't know. Let's see how it does. Because we're still good friends. Both of them are investors. And we talk a lot about our business and what we can do together and how we create a super app to help people live better lives. And I think that's something that is very keen in our head. I'm very small compared to them, but let's see how things go.
At least you were a shareholder. And that was Zomato, where you led 300 people. Yes.
More than 300, but yeah.
So this is my question: leading and inspiring the team of over 300 people from various cultures, from various geographies. Is actually a very interesting achievement. Please share some of your lessons and some of your leadership principles that you gained from this experience, and tell us how you effectively manage and motivate such a different and diverse team.
Yeah. So first of all, I had a team under me that helped me a lot here in Portugal, that helped me run various verticals of business. That was the first thing. And each time that we launched the country, I would send 2 or 3 people that were trusted by me to build the culture. I would go there, but they would maintain the culture, and then hire people like us. That was the fun part. But then when the company went down, we also had to fire people that we hired and trained and loved and worked together. So that was the hard part. You were saying 300 was at the end, but in the beginning it was over 1,000 people. So we hired all of them. And it was very hard to go from 900 team to 300 team and fire 600 people in 3 months. And that's what happened in 2016. Going country by country, firing people that we hired like a year back. That was very hard. But getting the right people with us, I think that strategy that we had, launching a new country, taking my team there, we hired people that we thought that we could delegate that culture and help us build on that. And then my team would come back and then launch another country. It was a team of launchers. And I would go every 2 weeks to a country and stay there for a week or so and maintain the culture, maintain the business running and all that. So that's why I think we adapted really well to remote work after the pandemic crisis. We already used to that, different time zones, different people, different cultures, and motivating them by Zoom or Skype or whatever tool that we had. So we already had to work like that, reporting online and all that, and also reported to India, so this was already familiar to us. But I think the key thing, if you ask me what was the key thing, I think two things were good decisions. First of all, having my core team, people that I trust, go there with me, and for a while saying, okay, this is how we do everything, and delegate that. And second, those guys were aligned with my way of thinking, and we would hire the right people to continue and to manage the team. We failed a lot, of course. We hired people that were not good enough, but we also fire them very fast. So I think hire fast, fire faster to maintain the culture and not spoil everything else. But I think that was the key thing that we did, having people going country by country, and training the way that we did, the successful way that we did things in other countries. So I think, and the learning that came out of that was amazing. You know, those people got learnings from different cultures, different ways of living, different languages. So I think what we got from there, from that experience, was unpaid for. So it was I think worth a lot.
Among all of these factors that you mentioned, for example, different cultures, different time zones, different ways of living, which one was the most, significant problem making? Which was, your burden?
Yeah, so when you want to grow fast and you have money in the bank, one of the things that the decisions that you take is buy companies that are doing the same thing that you are, but they have significant impact in the market that you're in. So Poland, Czech Republic, and Slovakia, we bought 3 companies: Obiedowat, Gastronoci, and Lunchtime. Those 3 countries. Okay. I think the culture clash when you buy a company and you retain the people, the backlash out of that is the learning that I don't want to repeat. So it's the same thing. Imagine that someone acquires SheerME and we wear our shirts, and then the company is called something else. The culture clash is huge. And I think if I could do something again, I would rather build from scratch than buy companies. We also did that in Turkey with a company called Mechanist. We bought it in Turkey. But we just kept some key people that understood that what we were doing. But in Central Europe, it was very hard. I think the culture clash was something that was very, very hard. It would be easier to shut down, keep the users, and get everyone out, and then new people in with Zomato thinking and all that. I think that was the best learning that I got. Acquiring sometimes is not the best way. I don't know if it is the best way, but we had a good experience with a company that we bought in Italy called Cibando. It was a pretty good experience. But we also had the country manager that understood that, okay, we are now Zomato. So he drove that culture. So that was pretty good. The others was not that good.
Okay, that was very interesting. I personally am, a venture capitalist and, an investor. So what you told was very interesting for me. Sometimes to keep the people and, destroy the to shut down the company and, build another company from scratch is a
better way.
Yeah.
It's less costly. And I'll give you another example. I was not there, but I went there then to try to solve the problem. We did a huge acquisition in the US. Zomato bought Urban Spoon. Okay, Urban Spoon was a huge company. But in the US, imagine having some guys from India going to the US, buying a company, and now saying, okay, now it's like we're saying. Usually it's an American company that buys an Indian company. Now imagine the backlash that you get from American guys talking to Indian guys that just come, and 23, 25, 27-year-olds, talking to 42-year-olds from America that are completely different. So it's hard. So I don't know if I would do it again. You know, I think it's better to build from scratch and go fight than to do an acquisition and have everyone in the company adapt to the new culture. It's going to be hard. I don't know.
Okay, thank you. Let me ask, maybe my last question about Zomato, and go to your next experience. I think in a business like that, which is worldwide, one of the most scary aspects of doing business is corporate governance. How did you control people, and how did you implement corporate governance? Because the law in every country is different from another one, and the culture which you mentioned is completely different. Maybe the standards of working are different, and I think it would be like a nightmare to implement a restricted way of corporate governance. How did you do that?
We hired outside, so we contracted someone third party. So we're operators. We don't know the laws of each one of the countries. So legal, accounting, and everything else that we would need, it would be a third-party company supplying the services for us and helping us maintain. So that is part of the launch phase. I would go to a country, try to understand who are the best legal teams, the best accounting teams. Accounting, we had global companies that would give us that support. Legal, we did local. So it would be better to have someone local that understood the local language and the local laws. So I would find the lawyers, I would find the accountants, I would find anything that we would need, or the HR company that would work with us, and create all that governance, because we're operators. We're not legal people or finance people. We're not that kind of people. We just go there and want to do business and to implement and to develop the business. So we would get outside help for that.
Okay,
does it make sense to you?
Yeah, of course. Actually, because corporate governance is one of my self-interests. I was looking for some answers, but okay, that's fine. Yeah.
No, but we're operators, we try to run away from all that bureaucratic stuff that we will fail if we put our hands on it. So we want to be supported by someone. And imagine 2016, 17, we were already preparing for an IPO in 2020, 2021. So we had to have everything really sorted out. So it could not be us.
And finally, you left Zomato. Why did you do that? And what happened next?
So money in my pocket, and I took the decision of creating something on my own. So Zomato had a culture of feet on the streets. So we would go city by city with a map in our hands and list everything that was out there. Okay. And I would notice that in the corner of a street, there was a restaurant, a bar, a barber shop, a spa, and a hairdresser. Okay. The total addressable market was very similar. And now let's go back to the beginning of the conversation. I told you that in 2009, we built a company with the assumption that 30% of people would make a booking when they go out to eat. Okay. Now, 85% of people that want to self-care, take care of themselves, they have to pre-book. If a lady doesn't go to a nail salon and say, okay, do my nails, or I don't go to a psychologist and say, okay, I need a consultation right now, or a nutritionist or a personal trainer. So 85% of times that I want to take care of myself, I need to pre-book. This is huge. Then if you try to look and book online with instant confirmation, you'll get less than 10% of the services out there in any city in the world. Many cities are very less than 10%. Mm-hmm. So there's a huge opportunity here. Also, we started noticing, okay, but why is this happening? Why hasn't no one taken tackled this business yet. And we started to notice, okay, there are some companies working in this space, but the same problem that we saw in 2009, most of the companies are SaaS products, software as a service, okay? And if you go to a mom and pop shop, a spa, massage place, or a hairdresser or barber shop and say, okay, you have to pay 89 euros to have a software system to manage your bookings, your existing bookings, I'm sorry, they will say, fuck off. Like the restaurant owners used to say to me, what they want is new business, okay? And there was no acquisition platform for this business. They're all only software as a service because it's a lot easier. It's very hard to implement a marketplace. But by the way, it's the same thing that I've been implementing for the past 12 years of my life. So we said, okay, there's a huge opportunity here. No one is tackling the market in the way that we are. So let's try to create something, bring the knowledge that we have, and let's create something that will bring value, bring innovation to the sector and make them more efficient, okay? After that, we notice, okay, but we're going to have the same problem we had in restaurants. When I book a restaurant, the restaurant owner would come to me and say, okay, here's my business card. Next time, call me and I'll give you 10% off. So the bypass would be there. So a ha-ha moment came to us and we say, okay, let's create this acquisition platform. Let's give the software for free for the merchants. And let's create a wallet ecosystem that each time that I use SheerME, I gain value in the wallet and I can use it the next time. The more I use, the more I gain. So we created the wallet ecosystem, and this is game changing because we have 4 ways of putting money into the wallets. First, each time that you book, you gain cash back over the amount that you earned. So you have money in your wallet so you can use the next time. The second thing, if you invite friends, every friend that you invited, you get a percentage of what they use back in your wallet. So you have our users incentivizing their friends to use SheerME and to take better care of themselves, to live a better life. So continue the mission out up there, a better life for more people, okay? And the third part is that we understood that companies were concerned that people need to live a better life, like L'Oreal. So each time that you download SheerME, L'Oreal gives you 10 euros in our wallet. When you use those 10 euros, I charge L'Oreal. So the merchant is winning, the consumer is winning, we are winning, and L'Oreal is winning. So everyone is winning here. And we also noticed that a lot of other companies are willing to do this, like banks, insurance companies. So these companies top up the SheerME wallet, and each time that amount is used, I charge them. So the user is gaining. And if I have money in my wallet, I'm never going to pick up the phone. So these are the 3 things. And in November last year, we launched the 4th that also is game-changing for us. So we launched what we call the wellness allowance for companies. So companies can top up their staff's wallets for them to take better care of themselves, like a perk. Today, it's very hard to maintain staff. And I'd rather give 50 euros into the SheerME wallet for people to go to a spa, to a hairdresser, to a psychologist, a nutritionist, or a gym, than to give them 50 euros for them to spend on cigarettes or anything else. I know that they're going to improve their life, and I'm going to give them that wellness allowance. And I think that was game-changing for us, because if you have money in your wallet, you're never going to pick up the phone, or even less use another other platform. I have money that my company gave me that other companies topped up, so I'm going to continue to use SheerME. So this is our USP. Does it make sense?
Very good. And which was harder to convince, the businessmen to use your platform, or to convince, the companies to top up the wallet of their employees?
Good question. I thought you were going to ask the users or the consumers, or the consumers, they adopt this very easily because, many things. 29% of our users are foreigners, okay? So people that don't speak the language, and they find us on Google. We have a Google button integration with Google, Meta, Facebook, and Instagram, and all that. So we open various channels to acquire more clients. So foreigners are more keen to use SheerME than to pick up the phone and call someone that might not speak their language. Okay, so that's one thing. The second thing is that we bring efficiency to them. So I can do a booking at 1 a.m. I remember I have to go to the barber at 1 a.m. I just check what is the closest to me, and I do the booking for tomorrow at 10 a.m. So that is convenient. For the merchants in the industry, it was harder. Once they try, they understand. So our strategy in the beginning was we gave 3 months for free. Just test us out. And
Very good
once
strategy.
once they tested out, we said, okay, 30 bookings in 1 month. I need these guys, and they won't turn it off. Okay, so it was easy. If they let me put the foot on the door, it's easy to prove that this brings results.
Yeah.
Companies, it's easy for the HR to understand. It takes time for them to actually react, because the HR needs the approval of the CEO. The CEO needs to check the budget, and this needs to make sense in the finance. So it's a longer decision making. Okay, but once they understand and the employees give feedback, they love it. Because usually companies give you a voucher to go to the gym, but I don't want to go to the gym. The gym is not close to my house. It's not what I want. I want something else. And here you have 100,000 services that you can book. So the feedback that the employee gives to the company, they love it, you know? So I think more and more companies are acquiring the SheerME benefits, because they understand that this is something that makes their staff happier, feeling better, more confident. Because if I look better, if I feel better, I'm more confident and I deliver more. So I think this brings results in many ways.
Very good, and it makes sense. Miguel, when you want to introduce SheerME, you use the word democratizing. What do you mean by this word?
Make it easier for everyone. Well, we actually don't use that word because it's very hard for people to say it like you.
Yes, like me.
And even me, when I'm democratizing the sector, it's very hard. So what we want to do is make it easier for everyone to find and book whatever they need. So they don't want to, if I want to go to a barber, I don't need to download the SheerME app to book a barber. If I find that guy in Google, there's a button there that I can book anytime because we have an integration with them. We do the same for Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and others. So what we want to do is make your life easier when you decide that you need to take care of yourself. Okay, when it's your moment, we want to make it easier. It has to be democratic. It has to be easy. It has to be just a click. Okay,
people have the same opportunity to use.
Yeah. So imagine this. I don't have to remember the name of the company, SheerME, to do a booking on a barber. I just have to put barber in Lisbon. And I find the ones that have the possibility to book online, and I book right away. So that's what we want to do. Each time more and more merchants come on board, because they understand that making it easier for the consumer to find them and book anytime, anywhere. I'm at the beach and I want to do a booking, I can do that. I'm in between meetings and I want to do a booking. I don't have to call anyone. I can do it. We even have this lady in the beginning of SheerME. It was a very inspiring email. I should have printed it and put it on the wall. I might do that. I have to do that. And the lady just sent us an email saying, "Thank you, SheerME," and that was the title of the email. And then we read through it, and she said, "Okay, my life is I just go to work. I have kids at home. I go to work every day, and everything that I do is on the train to work. And you don't imagine how hard it is for me to book certain services when I'm on the train and everyone is listening. With SheerME, I can do it discreetly, you know? So we never understood that this was a problem because we're not ladies, maybe, and we don't have that problem. But, you know, we're fixing some problems that we never knew that they existed, you know? So I think this is something very inspiring, and it's something that makes us happy that we're helping people actually have a better life, not only because they're taking care of themselves, but because we bring them efficiency to take that better care of themselves, you know?
Very good. Very good. Very good. very interesting. Miguel, can you please, reveal some numbers about SheerMe, which are not confident?
No, I don't. I don't have anything that is confidential. So we are 2 years old. We have 100,000 users at this point in time, just in Lisbon. We launched Brazil in May 5th this year. We're reaching almost 8,000 bookings per month. Over 220,000 euros GMV per month, pretty good for a Portuguese company. But I think if when we go to Brazil, this will increase a lot more. We just closed a round of funding. We're going to announce it in a couple of days.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We closed till now 3.3 million euros of investment. We're in 3 countries, Portugal, Brazil, and Spain. And we hope to launch one more country in the beginning of 2024. Mm-hmm. Some good numbers. 73% of bookings happen in beauty sector. Everything else happens in wellness. 65% are women, the rest is men, still men lagging behind. But men book mostly barbershops and stuff like that. Ladies diversify. 44% of bookings happen after closing hours, so after the places are closed. 29% are foreigners, and I think these are the big numbers. I think we have a lot more, but these are the top of mind that I have. Anything else that you want to know?
No, that was very good. And actually, I was surprised when you said your GMV, because sometimes people think this is one of the secrets of any business. Thank you. I had another question that I forgot. Do you want to add anything about SheerMe? So I think to remember my question.
So I think one of the things that we believe that we need to create, we need to make SheerMe much more social. Okay, we want to create the biggest wellness community in the world. There's still a big path to go, but we don't want to be a SaaS product. We want to be the platform for consumers to find whatever they need, not a managing tool that a merchant uses. We want to be more aspirational than that. We want to inspire you through experiences from other users that we have. So we just launched the feed. We have a feed like Facebook has. So you can see the reviews out of everyone and the photos that they've taken, so they can inspire you to use SheerMe and to take better care of yourself. So one of the things I think you guys don't know, my wife is also a co-founder, and she's the biggest reason that we built SheerMe. Because of various reasons. She was always saying, okay, I can book everything. I can book a plane. I can book a vaccine. I can book everything, but I can't book my nail salon. We need to fix this. So I think that was my first inspiration. But the second was a challenge, because she used to say to everyone, I rather change husband than my manicure. And I said, I'm going to prove you wrong. That's lack of references. And now she's the same husband and many manicures after that. So what we've proven is that a lot of people used to say, but I always go to the same barber shop. I always go to the same hairdresser, or I always go to the same massage place. Yeah, because you don't have references of others. If you have references of others, you'll try them out. Maybe you'll get another kind of experience. And I think that is what is happening with us. A lot of people, a lot of users are saying, okay, thank you, SheerMe, because I found something different. Now I'm changing and trying to learn a little more. And this also came from the experience from restaurants, because I would go to lunch in the same restaurant always. But after I got Zomato or Best Tables or The Fork, I started seeing references of others, and I would experience different things. This is a little different, but it's kind of the same. And now we see that this trend is happening. So it's very interesting to see.
Very good. Do you have any competitors in, each of these 3 countries?
So, kind of yes, kind of no. I'll expand on this. So what we have is software as a service platform. So managing softwares, and we're complementary. Okay, this brings a little bit of noise when we go to a barber shop. Imagine we go to a barber shop and he says, "Okay, I already have a managing platform for online bookings." Okay, and that's fine, because that doesn't acquire new clients, and we're an acquisition channel. We're complementary to that software. We can integrate if they let us, but if they don't, we're another channel, just like the phone. You just put the slots that you want to sell, and we sell them for you. That's what we do. We're an acquisition channel. So I think people have to understand this, but the human mind is complicated. So when you get a car on the street and you pay them to go from point A to point B, for many years this was a taxi. Today is an Uber. So when Uber came on, you would say, okay, this is a black car. No, it's not a black car, it's a taxi. And we're feeling the same thing. We're not a management software, we're an acquisition platform, we're something else. But as people don't recognize this, they say that we're this. So till we'll prove them that there's innovation and there's something else besides a software system to manage existing bookings, there's also an acquisition platform. This will be hard for the short vision people to see that there's something else. But we also felt this in restaurants, because restaurant owners would say, okay, I don't need a software to manage my bookings, or I don't need a software for delivery. And now everyone works with that. So I usually, when I go to a meeting with merchants in this sector, I ask them, if you open a restaurant today, would it be reasonable to say that you're not working with Glovo, Uber Eats, or The Fork? Possible. And everyone says, no, it's impossible. I have to work with them. It's the same thing. So if you have a barber shop, you have to work with these platforms like us. So it doesn't matter if they have competition or a software system, they have to have an acquisition tool as well. So answering your question, yes, we do have competition here as a software system. Treatwell, Booksy, they're the biggest ones well, there's three big ones worldwide. Four. Mindbody in the US, Booksy, Fresha, they both raised around 100 million in 2 years back, and Treatwell, that is like 16 years old. We kicked them all out of Portugal in 1 year. Okay, so I think we're doing something different. In Brazil, we have two players that are pretty good, Avec and Trinks, but they're actually the same thing. And if we continue to do our job, I think we'll have a good way of not competing, but giving them, we can be complementary to them, because that software just manages bookings, we bring new business. So that's the difference.
Very good.
Just one more thing that I think it will make all the difference for you to understand the difference. I make myself available, and I try to speak with the founders of these companies, and some of them say to me, I ask them, what is the most important thing for you? The most important thing for me, the founders of that Booksy, Treatwell, Fresha, is to have 100,000 merchants using my software. 200,000. Okay, that's fine, fantastic. My vision is I want to have 10 million users, 20 million users, 200 million users. So who has the users, the consumers, is who is going to win the market. We've seen this in the restaurant sector. So that is my ambition. We're doing something for the consumer. The merchant has to work with us if he wants new business, because the consumers are going to be on our side.
Very good. Miguel, I'm, a frank person, and honestly, your analysis structure and your answer to my last question was really smart. And honestly, it shows, your precise understanding of the business. Congratulations. It's very, you're welcome. This business, is cash consuming, and, you need to do lots of marketing. Are you cash flow positive now?
And not yet, and we won't be if we want to grow faster, we won't be. So there's two ways of doing this. Either we are a business and we become profitable in a year, or we're a fast growth company and we want to be $1 billion company in the next 3 to 5 years. And that's what we're aiming for. Okay. Why? And I told you this. There's companies that are 16 years old in this sector. There's not $1 billion company yet. There's still a fair chance. We're going to fight for it.
Oh, very good. My last question, which is a kind of a personal question. I asked it from lots of founders in Iran. Every time I ask this question, I was afraid of the answer, because it's a personal question, and I really won't be upset if you refuse to answer it.
I don't refuse anything.
In my point of view, it's hard to work with your wife. And maybe maintaining the balance between work and life is a really, really complicated issue. Is it hard, and how did you solve that?
Yes and no. I think I'll give you the other answer. If I was not working with my wife, I would already be divorced. So I think that was one of the reasons. I think it's not for everyone. We are complementary and we respect each other very, very much. And we are complementary. What I don't have, she has. And she brings balance to the team. It would be very, very hard for us to do this if we did not have a third founder. And he brings balance also to each other. We've been married for almost 20 years. Okay, I have a 20, and we've been together for almost 24. So we have a 22-year-old daughter and a son for 16-year-old. So we've been through a lot. She's always been not in the company, but close to the companies. And she's the kind of person that I would say, call her at 11 at night and say, okay, I'm bringing 20 people home. Let's do something. And she would be there and ready. So she's a partner, so from the beginning, she understood that this needs to work. Her vision, especially in this business, is a value add to us, because she has a lady's view of this industry. So this is a huge value add. And more than that, having a female founder today also is very important in these days. Okay. Especially when your team is 60% ladies. So that also helps. So answering your question, I think it's not for everyone. And I speak to a lot of people about this. And especially now, I think you got to know us because of the Unicorn Factory. There's 3 startups there that have co-founders that are husband and wife. Mm-hmm. And we've been talking about this, and it's fairly hard to do it. But if you have the complementary profiles, it works out pretty well, and that's what we do. Also, we've created this pact that at home we speak about something else, and if we want to do something, we book a meeting in the office. And business is business, home is home. And sometimes it doesn't work because we bring stuff home that we rather speak at home than in the office. But it works out pretty well. But once again, I don't think that this is for everyone. I think not all profiles fit, because there has to be a lot of respect and a lot of trust and value. She values what I do and I value what she does. There's respect, mutual respect and admiration. So I think that is something that has to be there. And I think we growing together, it's a lot easier, because she understands if I have to work till midnight, she completely understands because she knows what's happening, rather than having to explain to your wife, no, I have to do this because this is a business plan for the due diligence that we need to deliver to close the round of funding. So maybe not everyone would understand, but she understands. Okay. So I think it's a value add. It's something that works out for us, but I don't think it works out for everyone. We were lucky, I think.
Very good. And, this is a very a big achievement.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And my last question, is about the startups who are working in MENA region, Middle East and North Africa. What are your recommendations for these startups who want to expand their business worldwide? Do you have any recommendation for these startups?
I have the same for any different culture kind of area. You have to have the right supports, the right investors, the right mentors, the right people to help you crack the business. And that's something that we also always looked for. Going to India, going to Indonesia, Philippines, Qatar, Dubai, we always had to have someone that understood the business, that would introduce us to the right people, that would make it like a soft landing platform or help that would get for any one of these regions. So if you want to launch one of these regions, find the right people that can help you, okay? If you don't have, there's chambers of commerce, like government kind of entities that will help you. And that's what I did when I did not know anyone. But right now, today, if I go to any region, I try to find the right people to help us, even if it's giving them equity or making them part of the company or finding investors in that region. So I'll tell you, in Brazil, it's the same culture, but I went there with a lot more confidence because I have Brazilian investors and they're opening the doors and introduced me to the right people, and we'll grow a lot faster with this than rather if we didn't have. So finding the right people, the right backers, the right investors, the right coaches or mentors is key for the success in each one of the regions. Any region, not only that one, especially that one, because of the cultural differences, but that's key.
Very good. Thank you very much. I don't have any questions. Do you want to add anything that you think you have missed?
No, I think thank you for inviting me. It was a great conversation. It's always good to talk about the learnings and the failures and the wins that we had in what we're doing. And anyone that wants to connect on LinkedIn, please do. And I love to connect to new people and to understand how I can help here and how they can help me if I ever need any help on the other side of the world.
Okay, thank you. And I'd like to invite our participants to ask questions from Miguel. If they have any, they can raise their hand or type in the chat box, or open their mic or video. Meanwhile, I have some few words as my final message. I personally would like to, extend my thanks to Miguel Alves Ribeiro for joining us today and sharing his invaluable insights at the event. I invite all the attendees, all the people, to stay connected with us on LinkedIn to be the first to know about our upcoming events. In addition, we recorded this event and our upcoming events, and they will be uploaded on our YouTube channel in the coming days, so you can revisit and share these really insightful discussions. Additionally, a brief script of this event will soon be available on our website, VConnect.pro, which can provide you with a convenient source to reference and to revisit the key highlights. And thank you all for being part of this enriching experience. And I personally, as the representative and on behalf of my team, I look forward to connecting with you and see you soon.